Welcome to Behind the Mirror podcast. I'm Lisa.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And today we are joined by Dale, the owner of the Beardy Beardy salons. SHABA winner how many times?
We've just won for the shops, but we've got other people in the shops that have won different awards.
I was going to say, I feel like every time I'm at the SHABA's, like Beardy Beardy won something.
Last year we had 10 entries across 7 categories or something.
I just remember when, like, one, I don't know, did your apprentice win or something last year? Did they get, there was something anyway, and the whole table just erupted, like, from the corner. I was like,
actually
whoa.
had so many people from across the shops that we had 2 full tables last year.
It was a lot of people, I remember that. Like, oh my God.
This year?
It's good. I just found out the other day we made the Renfield Street shop is a finalist for Barber Shop of the Year.
Wow.
So is the Finniston shop. We've got Mark Shannon in Renfield Street, who's up for Best Barber as a finalist, and Ewan Perry in Finniston, who's also made the finalist list.
That's amazing.
Brilliant. We'll be there too.
Again, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We'll be interviewing the winners, so maybe
Hopefully.
we'll see you.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Get some of your atmosphere definitely from that. I saw the videos of it on your Instagram, and
it
it's
was
like
awesome.
he's like that. Yeah.
No,
it
it's
was
just
awesome.
brilliant, isn't it?
It was actually unbelievable. You know,
Yeah.
you go in thinking like you're just kind of taking part, you're playing the game or whatever, and then you see the video of me standing up holding my head because I'm thinking, did that just happen? And then my initial thought was, all I heard was Beardy Beardy. I don't know what shop it was. I had to try and find the screen, and people were tackling me.
Who's good?
I was like, whoa, this is mad. It was awesome.
But let's talk about that, right? So you didn't, I've obviously known you for a very long time, and you weren't always a barber. So your career history is quite long. So to now be sitting owning all these amazingly successful barber shops, like, tell us the journey.
Well, that's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Especially when you put it like that.
I know. I think you were a chef. You were on the Marines at one point.
For the longest time, I was a chef. Like, we grew up in a hospitality town, so started working in restaurants when I was like 12, 13 or whatever, washing dishes, and then learned how to cook, did starters and desserts and that sort of stuff. And I was always able to, I never really wanted to be a chef, but I always needed to have a job.
Yeah.
So I just always had a job.
You fell into that.
Absolutely. A lot of people do. Where I come from, a lot of people do. And then I got to a point where I started to think, what am I actually going to do? Like, I need to find something. So I just tried everything. I thought
Best way.
Because you were on the ships.
I was in the Merchant Navy.
Yeah.
So I thought all I really knew is that I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
So better do something that gets paid well. So I started thinking about what jobs can I do where people get paid well. Engineers, they're smart, they make money. So I'll start pursuing that. And did that for a while. Wasn't for me. Worked on building sites. My brothers are like scaffolders. My dad was a scaffolder, and they tried all different things in construction. But I did that for a while. I also did that while I was working in kitchens. Like, I'd have 2 jobs at the same time. And I tried all these jobs and never ended up where I wanted to be.
I think it's important, like, it's not just about the money, but you have to get job satisfaction. You have to enjoy it as well, isn't it?
Well, the funny thing is, I was like 27 and I thought, this can't continue. I can't keep having jobs that I don't like.
Well, you're never progressing any further if you're starting again somewhere else.
All you're doing is concentrating on one aspect of it and never getting any further forward. So I was like, right, if I'm going to be skint, at least I'm going to be happy.
At least enjoy it.
At least I'll do something that will be decent. So I decided I'm going to retrain. So I knew I had to work full time because I still had to pay my rent. So I thought the only way I can retrain is to go to night school. So I started looking at what night school courses were available versus what I was interested in. And I thought, I'll learn how to tile kitchens and bathrooms, or I'll learn how to cut hair. And tiling courses, I don't know what they're like now, but it was so expensive.
What a crossroads you were at. It's like a sliding doors moment.
I was like, anything. I had done a wee bit of tiling with a couple of my pals, and I thought, this is quite cool. It's like jigsaws, man. It's quite therapeutic.
It's like jigsaws, man.
I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, I quite like that.
But there's still a bit of creativity, I suppose.
Aye, for sure. So I thought maybe it would be that, but couldn't afford the course. And then I saw an entry-level men's hairdressing course at City of Glasgow College Night School, which was a couple £100, and I ended up applying for a thing called like some sort of ILA funding or something where you could get like £200. So they gave me £200. I think the course was like 260, so it cost me like £60.
Happy days.
Did one night a week for a year. As soon as I went in the college class, as soon as we started, I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
Straight away, I just knew I liked it. And then I ended up meeting a guy in the class who was sort of working as like a unpaid apprentice in a barbershop in the West End. And I cut his hair, he cut my hair, and he said, I'll get you some feedback from the guy that he works for. So he texted me a few days later, Mike said this and that. He says you could come in for a chat if you want, maybe he can help you out. I was like, brilliant. So I was still working like 50, 60 hours a week in a kitchen. And then I had night school one night a week.
Dedication to go and do that after work. So it's
on
a long day on your feet. And then...
Aye, but I thought this is an opportunity I can't say no to. So I would drive from Ayr to the West End on my days off, spend it in the shop, answering the phone, cleaning, shampooing and stuff. In fact, funny
Basically
story,
doing your dream.
Gary, that
yeah.
So I used to shampoo his hair because he used to get his hair cut there.
Did you actually?
Aye.
That's so
Used to
funny. I
shampoo his
wonder
hair.
if he would remember.
I don't think he would remember, man. But he was
No,
one
I
of the people.
I think he said that he knew who you were because when I mentioned you were going to come
Oh,
on, he
right,
was like,
aye.
"Oh, I know Dale."
Aye, I was
Oh, wow.
I was the apprentice there, man. So I would shampoo his hair and listen.
Do you not love how everybody's interlinked in this industry one
But
way or
also,
another?
you've had more. I mean, as a guy, you've had a lot of hairstyles.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because you had long hair at one point. It was quite long.
Yeah.
And
Aye, I
you
suppose,
also you were at the point you would create like highlights and stuff through it. So he maybe just doesn't recognise anymore.
Aye.
Like as the years of the evolution of Dale's hair,
Landed on this
Timeline.
short grey crop.
but it's very in style,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm masking a awful hairline. That's why. I've got loads of clients that come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm pure. I need to make sure it's long because I've got this hairline stuff." I'm like, "You've come to the right guy."
It's a very clever way, though, isn't it?
It's
I wouldn't have thought it looked
it's
like-
also like the opposite of what you expect to have to do. People think you need to keep it as long as possible, but what you actually need to do is cut certain parts short. So
Yeah.
obviously, if this hair starts back here and this hair starts here, if it's all the same length, it's it's totally out. So you want to cut this bit short, leave that a bit longer, but it needs to be squared off.
So if any guys are watching this that are affected by a receding hairline that they don't love, what are they asking a barber for? For that, what's the language?
Obviously, like you want to have as full a fringe as possible. So start with that, and hopefully the barber knows. Like,
Well, hopefully they come to Beardy Beardy if they're local enough.
Well,
but
I just come to Beardy Beardy. We're everywhere.
So how did you end up with your own salons? How did that progress?
Yeah, so after night school, I know I could ramble all day, but after night school, I had been working in that shop one day a week, and then I got to a point where I could cut hair, but I couldn't cut hair in that shop because the standard was so high. So I just went and tried to get another job, and I got a job in another place, and then I was in there for a while, and I felt like I got better. I did a skills test in another place, and I worked at a couple of different places in Glasgow.
Just renting a chair kind of thing? Or?
Just paid by the hour and working on commission.
Okay.
I've never actually done chair rent, flat
Right,
chair rent.
right.
I could have had, but
I think that was the generation as well, though, because I think it's
Yeah.
only really now there's a lot of that, but I
Yeah.
think years ago most people were employed.
Aye, certainly
or
I was at the
commission-based,
start. And then I kind of fought to become self-employed with my employer at the time. I was saying, listen, I want to do, I got offered a job that was self-employment. I thought maybe I can make more money doing that. And I ended up following that, and it was good because it's led me to where I am.
Yeah.
So I worked in a few different places, like well-known places in Glasgow, in the city centre. And then I was in one, and the guy, so Beardy Beardy already existed before me. The company was 10 years old in September. That's when Kilmacombe opened, and I wasn't involved in it at that point. Renfield Street was opened 7 years ago on April 1st, and I started there as a barber when that opened. My manager there at the time, him and I worked together in one of the competitors just up the road. And he got offered the job to go and manage that shop, and he said to me and a couple of other guys, "You want to come with me?" And it was 100 yards up the road, and it was a good offer, and we weren't that happy at work, so we took it. And then after about 10 months or something, the manager there decided that he didn't want to work there anymore, and he left. So Stevie, my business partner, he came in to see us at the time, and I think he was probably thinking he was coming in for us to all go, "This is murder, we're leaving." But we were all like, "Right, so what's the plan?" We were quite happy about what we're doing. And he ultimately was saying, "Oh, I need to find," he's looking for a manager for the shop. And I didn't really want to take the job, to be honest. It sounds like I'm lying, right? It's like not that believable, but I didn't really want the job. But what I wanted less was for someone else to come in and do the job not as well as I wanted them to do it.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought, I'll just do it.
Did you not want it because like you're quite pally with the people that work with you? Did you
That's
not
one
just
of the
want to be the
things.
gaffer? Is that
Ultimately, I wanted to open my own shop. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do what I'm doing here for the next few while, and then I'm going to go and open a shop. And I can't really be bothered with the extra hassle. I want to be able to just kind of just look after myself. I don't really want to have to deal with complaints. I don't want to hire people. I don't want to fire them, all that sort of stuff.
Because a lot of people feel like you go into a management position and then you have to deal with all the rubbish stuff, don't you?
I mean, almost, in my experience, almost immediately you do. You know what I mean? So people come to you to talk to you about things that it doesn't seem
Drama
business related. Do you know what I mean? They're
between
like,
yeah.
well, I've got credit card debt. I'm like,
yeah. No.
all right, does that make
I
you
know,
late?
you're like, dear Trisha.
Aye, man. Like,
know.
how's that related to my
I
job?
know.
So, but I took the job and I'm glad I did. And it's been good. It was good. And, you know, like after a year or so, I felt like I've learned how to, you know, I kind of was scrambling, but I've learned how to run it. I know what I'm doing. So it's setting me up better to go and open my own shop. So I went to Stevie. He had another business partner at the time. I went to them and I said, I feel like at this point I've done everything that I've set out and said I was going to do. Because at the start when I took over, I said, right, this is the situation we're in. This is what we're turning over. This is what size the team is. You know, this is where we are in sales. And I think I can make these changes, bring these people in and get us to this point within a year or something. And I did. And then I went to them and I said, I've done that now. What I'm thinking about doing is...
Thailand.
Yeah. I like jigsaws massively.
Can we get some for this reception?
So I just said I'm gonna go and do my own thing now. Thanks for the opportunity, respectively, but I'm gonna go and do what I want to do, or I can stay here, but I want to be an owner.
Yeah.
And they were like, right, well, I'll come back to you. And they came back to me and they said, yeah, that's fine. We're willing to give you X amount percentage of the company. Next year we'll move it up so you own more. I'm like, right, okay, that's cool. So just went ahead with that. And then again, I was probably being a bit greedy, but after a year or so I went back and I said, right, that's all well and good, got that kind of ownership, but what I'm looking for now is like a pay rise. I want more money on hand. You know what I mean? Doing a lot of work, shop's busier, like
absolutely,
making more money.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of what I want.
Well,
I
you're
think,
still comparing it to what it would be if it was yours entirely, so it makes
100%.
sense.
And I'm like, also have a kind of idea in my head of where I want to be in
Yeah.
2 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. So, you know, it was reasonable what I was asking for, but some people might have been like, will you just rein your neck in a wee bit? But ultimately they came to me and they said, well, we can't afford to give you a pay rise, but what we can do is we can essentially sell you more of the company.
Wow.
So I did that.
Yeah.
So I'm up to Renfield Street. The result of it was that Stevie and I bought the other director out. He was happy to walk away.
Yeah.
And him and I split Renfield Street.
Amazing.
I love that you asked for a pay rise and yet they got you paying them money.
I know, but long term wise.
Yeah, of course, like long term, but short term, they were like.
What it also meant was like, it meant that I was able to take the brand that was already established, improve it, make it better, expand it, open more shops, recruit more people, and really try and turn it into just get it as big as I could get
Well,
it.
it's a business that you're so familiar with as well, and as you say, you already know you're comfortable with even the clients that come in at that point. You know how they work, how the staff works.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, I think it's genius.
So I want to talk about the vibe of Beardy Beardy because, like, again, stalking through your socials and stuff, and it's like it's a quirky place. Like, you've definitely created a brand.
Yeah.
Like, I think every one of them kind of looked similar, like new, modern, but like funky, creative,
rustic, kind of industrial.
Yeah.
Quite important to have that like brand look about you when there's so many.
It still looks so professional,
Yeah.
but it's almost the opposite of what you would expect a professional place to look like. It's quirky. So see, when you've got all your staff, and I notice like there's a definite vibe of the team. There's a lot of tattoos, it's funky clothing, it's like a lot of piercings and stuff. Is that something you look for in staff? Because I know that there's like some brands that literally go as far as making sure that everything fits, or is it just coincidence that everyone's kind of creative?
I mean, I would say it's coincidence, but it might be part of it that's sort of subliminal. Do you know
I think people are drawn though
Yeah.
to places that resemble them as well, and
they
the
feel
look
like they
that
fit. As a rule, I pretty much say, like, I try to only hire people that you would go for a pint with.
Yeah.
And usually, like, I mean, I haven't always got it right.
I was gonna
we've
say.
fired people, you know what I mean?
I know, it's hard. Yeah.
Or, you know, or some people have kind of managed themselves out because, you know, they're maybe too different a character, shall we say.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, recruiting people is hard. I have been recruiting for 7 years. It's very difficult to get people in the door. You know, even the wrong person, it's hard to get someone in. Then when you get them in, you just hope you've got the right person.
Well, it's trying to blend them together in the team as well, because they can be the most skilled person and their work can be incredible.
Yeah,
they have to fit, and it's very difficult. I've got a team of 6, and it's really hard. You know, you're employing people, but everyone's got a different personality, but actually it works really well. And people say, like, "Oh, you're really lucky," and I'm like, I don't know how, that's a total fluke. But they are very different, and I don't know.
I think there's a bit of that in ours as well, because certainly, like, you know, like, probably when you look at the shop, I think I always describe it to people as it looks kind of like a skate shop, right? A lot of the guys that work there, they probably skated when they were young. Some of them skate now, although they shouldn't. They're getting too old and they're hurting themselves.
You'll be hurting those wrists.
Coming at the manager daily and being like, that broke my finger. How's that my fault? Or?
Yeah. I had one of the guys saying one day, "Oh, I've bought a downhill mountain bike," and I was like, "Cool. Have you got insurance? Because if you break your collarbone, you're going to be in trouble."
Yeah, no.
So no, like I think certainly when you open a shop, you've obviously got the shell of the building, and you're trying to work with what's there. So in our shops, we've got a lot of these industrial exposed beams, and we make that feature. And then, you know, like, the artwork is artwork that I like and that the guys would like. So, you know, it's quirky art, it's kind of maybe a bit of graffiti here and there, comical stuff, and it's a wee bit of everybody's personality. And I think probably naturally you do sort of draw the right type of person towards the brand. I don't think we would get anybody applying for a job there that is not into that at all.
Yeah.
So that's
like your
probably
vibe attracts
how
your tribe kind of thing. Isn't
I
so
think
that's
so.
probably how that's happened.
Yeah.
And also through, like, mutual friends. Like, if I work in a barber shop and I get to know this guy and him and I are similar, well, he might have a friend that's looking for a job. He's likely going to be similar to him, so he's quite similar to me.
Yeah.
But having said that, not everyone in there is a skater and has got tattoos, or there's I think there's one guy that doesn't.
Sure.
I was just thinking, because I don't think he's on your Instagram then. I mean, I went through every photo and I was like, oh, it's a definite, but in a good way.
Aye.
It's like a modern day place. Like, I think sometimes you want your brand to be strong because it's then very unique and it's very individual to you and the services that you're doing. So you don't do women at all?
Well, we'll cut women's hair. It just depends what you're looking for.
So, but you would do a barbering haircut.
Aye.
Tell us, I mean, I got absolutely hounded on social media. I don't do men's hair at all. I have one guy, he's got long hair and I know his mum, and that's why I do him.
Yeah.
My reasons were twofold. I'm not a barber, and the second thing is I have the right to choose. I don't want to be on my own in the salon with a male that I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's
a dynamic we don't really have to think about, but that makes sense.
When we did this, the internet went mental, didn't it? And it was like, you know, you can't say that. Well, I am, and I will. So
who was gone mental, women or
it was like the comments. It was just kind of a comment made.
Mostly women, actually. It was kind of older women that were.
Yeah, I can't believe you've said that. It was, the story was, somebody had messaged and said, could she book her husband in? And I said, I'm really sorry, I don't do short hair. No, guys hair. I said guys hair. And she was like, well, how do you know it's not long? And I was like, what? It's actually irrelevant to me. I'm not doing it.
I think they were kind of going down the gender route of,
the gender
like, you know,
thing.
well, if it's short hair, does it matter if it's a woman or a man?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where my stance is on it, without getting into the politics of it. If you come in and you're asking for a haircut that we can do,
barber cut,
we will do it. But if you come in for a perm, we don't do that. The way I explain it to
whether
people,
you're a man or a woman.
Yeah, absolutely, we can't do it. Like, if a guy's in asking for a perm, actually, and I'll go, sorry mate, we don't do it, but Tony and Guy's round the corner. You know, I always tell people, like, I don't know how this is going to come across, but if you're looking to get your house rewired, you don't hire a plumber. You hire an electrician. They're equally skilled, but they do different things. Do you know what I mean? So if a guy's coming in, we got a lot of guys in with long hair, they're basically coming in for like a uniform layer, an inch off all over. You know what I mean? That's pretty much, most of the time, that's it. Or it's mid-length, like a kind of surfer cut. If a female is coming in for a haircut, they probably want a skin fade or like a short mod cut or something like that. We're absolutely doing that. But if you're coming in for, like, I wouldn't cut your hair. You know what I mean? You should get someone
It's a certain style, certain length and style that you do, and no matter if you're a male or female, if you fit in that category, then fine, come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it's interesting to talk to you though, because that was the point we were trying to convey. Barbering is not the same as hairdressing, and obviously the internet seemed to think that I was lying about this, but it's I definitely wouldn't be cutting your hair ever. Because I have no idea what I'd be doing. I don't even think I've ever held a pair of clippers.
Have you not, actually?
No. I would feel the same if you asked me to cut your hair. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, I wish I could.
So wait a minute, you're telling me that your wife doesn't even get a free haircut out of you?
I've cut her hair once or twice, but it was like when I was kind of at the start and I was trying to learn longer hair, and I didn't do as good a job as her hairdresser. She's, she'll go and get her hair done. Her hair looks beautiful.
No perks of the trade for her then?
No, unfortunately.
And then you've had a wee girl as well, so there's no perks of the trade for her going on.
I cut her hair when she was 1. We were away on holiday and the sun cream was making her hair stick to her face and stuff.
Really taking off at that age.
I was like, I don't want to be doing this with a snidey pair of scissors when I'm in another country. I want to take it at the shop and do it if I'm going to have to do it. I don't want to do it. But if I have to, that's what I'll do. And then I ended up cutting it so that her fringe was out her face. But it was a bad idea because when the rest of it grew in, her fringe was too short. And I already struggled to tie her hair up. Now my wife's hounding me to cut her hair. She needs it cut. And I'm like, I don't want to cut it. Her hair's long. It's like as long as yours now.
I'm now envisaging you being one of the dads with a Hoover, like the bobble on the end of the Hoover, and you soak it all in. And
I
then
wish
just
I had
the
the guts to try that. I've seen that video so many times. No, I pretty much just a couple of bunches and a couple of bows, and that's about it. But my wife's now into pleating it, all different pleats and stuff, sending me pictures of it. I'm like, I can't compete with that.
That's your job. Do you ever see people cutting the length with the clippers? You seen that?
I've seen videos of it.
I think it looks the part on Instagram, isn't it? But in reality, it's not.
Have you seen the guy with the laser beam? And what's that thing called? Like a spirit level, but it's like a laser. And then everyone's like, yeah, but see when she moves her head, mate, downwards, it's going to be a million.
She does that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've cut a very perfectly straight line, but she moves.
She moves.
So I'm not a barber, right? So I trained in level 2 hairdressing, right? And we were kind of taught in salon to cut gents' hair. It was expected that we would cut gents' hair. So my boss at the time taught us how to use a clipper. Always kind of scared me a wee bit. I don't know. I think you are terrified of that clipper when you first start using it. I'm not scared of it anymore, but I definitely think, I would never call myself a barber. I can do a skin fade, but it's nothing, I don't know. It's not bad. It's probably better now than...
Better than me.
Yeah, I can do it, but I still would never ever call myself a barber. But one of the things when, you're trying to self-teach yourself to do a skin fade is online. So many people do the line. They take all the hair away and then they make the line fade out. Yeah. And then other people I work down the guards. Yep. There's a lot of controversy about why would you put a line in to have to remove it again?
I've heard that argument lots.
What way do you tend to do it?
The way I do it is I'll put the zero line in first. Yeah. And then I'll...
And then remove it.
Yeah. I do end up going up and down the guards.
Yeah.
So we've got guys in the shop.
Because the fear. Oh my God, that line's still there. I can still see it.
I remember I worked in a barber shop years ago that had a training school attached to it, and they would get teams of hairdressers from shops coming in to learn how to do skin fades. And I hadn't been on the floor long, but my boss would get us to do the skin fades and they would watch. And as soon as that zero line or the detail alignment, and you would hear them gasp.
Because it looks so dramatic.
Obviously, I'm going to get it out. I know. But I've got guys in the shop that do the complete opposite. They'll start at the top. They'll maybe start with, a 3 or a 4, and then they fade down. The reason why I don't do that is I want to know easily what height my fade's going to be. So if I put the zero in an inch above the ear, I know it's like a sort of low to mid fade. And if I start at the top and I blend everything perfect all the way down, my fear is I'll get to the bottom and I haven't left enough space for the zero. Aye. So if I put the zero in, I'm like, this guy asked for a zero, there's the zero, now I have to blend the rest in. That's it. That's just always the way I've done it.
Yeah. I saw a thing on TikTok the other day and it was like, I don't know, like a stamp with a teeth on it. Right. And the guy was teaching guys how to cut hair. Like one of these wonderful TikTok things where you get shown it and be like, I want that, mate. And you're like, it's not a thing. And it was like a stamp, and basically you just hold the clippers and it creates the perfect fade. It's at an angle. Take it. That's a lot of nonsense.
Buddy or something. I certainly. I wouldn't see it in a barbershop. I don't think you'd see it in a barbershop.
I think if somebody pulled that out to their skin fade,
you'd be patting.
Where did you learn?
If someone pulls that out in a shop,
I know,
the
that's
game is
about worrying.
over.
Surely that was
Isn't it?
invented through COVID or something for people that were stuck doing it
I
themselves.
don't know.
But I mean, probably, because we saw a lot of that, didn't we?
No.
So is it your opinion that more expensive clippers, would you say they make you a better barber? Is it down to the skill? What's your view on clipper?
I think
type?
good tools make the job easier.
Yeah.
And like some people might be like, oh no, I can use anything, but there's a reason why we're not using like dog clippers in a barber shop. You know what I mean? We're not using sheep shears.
True.
Like we've got good tools for it for a reason, and not necessarily more expensive. In fact, it's my opinion that some of the bigger brands are a bit too expensive compared to. I don't want to
You can name.
throw any
That's
shade.
okay.
But,
No, we're
but-
allowed to.
We do honest reviews. We're not paid for the
Yeah.
reviews
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So if there's something you love, definitely share it with others.
Well,
Like,
again, you find faults in everything. Like for the longest time, we were using this clipper, the gamma boosted. It's called. What I like on it is like the lever. You know, you have a lever and a clipper. You switch between. Typically, you
half.
would switch between a 0 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, that one's got like sort of recesses in it, so you can switch between like. There's like 4 steps to the
Oh, so
0
you can
and a
make
half.
that quarters.
Aye.
See, I feel like that would be good for blending the line.
Aye, oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great, and you just use like the corner of the blade for wee bits
Because
to
I
get the scarred line.
I feel like if I've ever put a line in, if I've ever done it as a test and then I've panicked, because sometimes the half isn't enough
Yeah.
to break it up,
Yeah.
and I always feel like I need it a wee tiny bit
Yeah.
shorter. I used to have a pair of balding clippers.
Oh yeah, the wall ones.
Yeah. And they were brilliant because they
Zero
went
in.
in
Aye.
really tight,
Yeah.
and they were
So I was
really.
talking about them. We haven't seen them for ages, and then one of the
Yeah.
boys in the shop was like, "Do you remember these?"
Yeah.
and he's got them. So
It was a client gave me them. She bought them during
yeah.
lockdown,
They were
and
great
then
for starting your skin fade.
she gave
right
me
to the
them.
0.
Oh my god, it's so close.
We've been
Listen, as
using-
if I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've been using GRL now. A lot of GRL, like all of them, the detailer and the clipper. The hairdryer's amazing.
Yeah.
Dyson, obviously, when they brought out like the Dyson hairdryer, then all other companies started going, we need to do something the equivalent. So now Wow's got one that's like, it looks like a laser.
They all
you know what I mean?
copy, don't they?
Aye. But I think the GRL one's the best one.
Yeah.
These come across so far.
lightweight, easy to use. Take it.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
powerful. In fact, you can't even really have it on the top hot set.
Really?
And like the attachments, they're all magnetic and
Yeah.
it's just sleek
Yeah.
and powerful. And you know what else is great? Is the cable's really long.
Look at us pure geeking out on
I
it. Do you
know.
know what? Did you ever think you'd be sat in a seat being like,
Talking
the
about the
cable
length of
is
cables on a hairdryer.
amazing?
But it's all these things that make life so much easier.
Yeah.
It's, it's not get tangled
Our
underneath
shop
the
in
chair.
Renfield Street's a narrow shop.
Right.
And when you're like blowing all the hair away, I'll use the hairdryers to go up the shop. I'll take the one out of this section, I'll blow the hair all up. You can get pretty much to the other side of the shop
Wow.
with the cable.
All round the skirtings.
Aye.
Love
The most annoying thing about that is when it gets caught under the chair and all that sort of
Oh
stuff.
my God, it's
That
pure
makes me angry. See the foot pump. Oh my
Oh,
god.
well, this is maybe off topic, but when I designed the Finiston shop, I designed every inch of it. It took 2 years, right? And I'm obsessive, so
Tell me you've got ADHD without
Don't tell
just
you.
taking the last 20 minutes of this episode. I've had every career. I'm obsessive. I was like that. I need a pay rise. I need to change job. I need to do this. I need to do this. It took me 2 years to create a plan. You're like the walking definition.
It's true.
And you've also stereotypically ADHD people have chefing and hairdressing as careers.
is that right?
Did it actually?
Fun
no way,
fact.
man.
Oh wow.
Because it's a
Maybe I
hands-on
do
job.
have it. Yeah, well,
There you go. You've had them all.
So does a
Sips
clean
coffee.
shop, does that matter as much as a clean fade? What's your opinion?
massively important.
What's your opinion?
A clean fade.
A clean shop.
I was like,
Is
yeah.
a clean shop
Oh, 100%.
important?
Like everything,
Oh, yeah.
for me, everything gets barbicided, every single use. Sybil, we use, you might not have that. Sybil's like a brush cleaner, but it's automatic.
Oh,
so you
right.
put your round brushes in it and it spins all the hair off, and then you can actually steam
Oh,
the
wow.
brush.
Oh, wow.
So that every single time you do anything, it's getting sanitised. Yeah.
Because I remember there was a thing a while back, and it was in the papers actually, and I'm sure it was a Turkish Barbers, and there was like a case of ringworm
Yeah.
that had went about so many clients because they weren't cleaning
Cleaning
and,
stuff
and
properly.
sterilising their
That was
clippers.
we are-
transferred through animals.
No, ringworm. They can get ringworm, but they've obviously cut somebody's hair with it. They've not used barbicide clean or
No,
sanitised.
we're big on it. We are big on it.
Yeah.
In fact, that like the guys maybe be watching this thinking, you're asking him about a clean shop because I'm murder. Like, how
I think
come
there's
in and
difference
start
between
picking
tidy and
stuff up?
clean as well.
OCD,
Yeah.
ADHD.
In fact, so much so, I'm saying about this shop in Finiston that we designed. I made it so that There's 8 sections, and each section has a sink at the section
Yeah.
rather than a backwash at the back of the shop. So you turn the chair around, shampoo.
Right.
And the idea was the client can come in, sit down, not move.
Like that.
So you spin them round, lean them back, wash their hair, turn them round. The headrest's always in the way when you're cutting. Like, I don't know if it's like for you, but the first thing we do when you put the gown on, you take the headrest off. But often in the other shop, they would leave it lying on the floor or sitting on the section or over in a chair. So I put a hook on the side of every section, so when your headrest comes off, there's somewhere
Just
for
make
it to
it
go.
easy. There you
There's a
go,
hook
simple.
for your mirror.
Aye.
I got a thing called a central vac system fitted. So basically, there's a big tank in the basement, and there's a hose from the tank that runs through the walls upstairs, and there's a port on the floor that you sweep the hair towards it and you kick it and it'll take it away. And each section has got its own hoover attachment, so you can hoover off the client at the end of it.
That's a bit like what we've got. We sweep the hair into it,
Into Sybil.
Takes it away.
and then but it's the same thing because it's just laziness. Like it doesn't get then shoveled into the bin,
Aye.
and it's just trying to
Aye.
keep it as clean and
Yeah.
because obviously it's all time as well between clients, the cleaning time and the sweeping, and so if you can save time doing that, then because you want the place to look. You want the 3 o'clock client to come in and see the shop as the way the 9 o'clock client does.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
What you're doing there, though, isn't just barbering like your Turkish barber. That's much more bespoke and much more deluxe. Like, who's got an individual Hoover getting thing like,
That's pretty
especially because
cool.
it has a hook, you know, somewhere for it to go. Like, they might be getting a Hoover, but is it hung up?
I think it's these things that clients like, though. It's the tiny touches that make it a wee bit different. I mean, I remember when I opened the shop and we had like the glass water bottles, we fill them up with the tap.
Yeah, we're the
and
same.
people were like, "Oh, I heard you've got fancy water bottles." Like, you know, it's never mind. Oh, your haircut's really good.
Yeah.
When
It's
I
the
opened,
simple things.
I had Voss water individual for every client till I
that's all
got to
money.
the second invoice
Yeah.
and was like, Voss is out.
Yeah.
Voss is no longer.
But it just shows you don't have to go over the top. It's just tiny wee touches that makes you a wee bit different.
The
And
cleanliness thing, like I tell the guys, the juniors and stuff, this all the time, but I went to the dentist once and they leaned me back in the dentist chair and the light was above my head and it was smeared. And I just thought, if that's dirty, what else is dirty in here? And I couldn't relax the rest
it
of the time.
gives you a feeling, doesn't
Aye,
it?
and also, like, you know, okay, like, if the mirror's got some marks on it, doesn't mean your tools are dirty, but I don't want people sitting in the shop and thinking, that's how much care you've taken. There's a splash right in front of my face on the mirror. You can't have it. It needs to be clean. It needs to be clean.
What do you use to clean your mirrors? That's my biggest.
Well, we went through a couple of different chemicals or window cleaning things. We had one that was working great and then we couldn't get it anymore, but I can't remember the name of it. My mum would tell me to use vinegar and newspaper.
That's what I use.
Nah,
I'm so old school.
newspapers are too expensive.
Not
these days.
newspaper. I use vinegar and then a cloth, microfiber cloth.
I just use water. I just use water.
Water.
That's the best thing.
One of the boys in Finiston was doing that. He always just got like a dry towel rolled tight and
that's
then
what I
just
do.
buff it.
A lot of the product, it depends what products you use as well. We use Paul Mitchell and it's water soluble, so it depends on what you're using. But even cleaning it and then cleaning it with water. See the Karcher thing? That cost me a fortune. At least lines on it.
The guys in Finiston use like in Renfield Street, they use like a window cleaners thing in a squeegee.
Yeah.
And then the good thing about that is the water runs off onto your section and you can clean your section.
It's like I'm watching the two of you having a pure in-depth conversation about what we clean a mirror with.
I think that's a massive thing in the industry,
for sure.
though. Clean mirrors, like, and the amount of times you go in somewhere and as you say, if the mirror's not clean,
Oh, yeah,
loads of people don't know how to
mine's
clean a mirror
racing.
properly.
He's like so excited now. He's like, and had this thing and the squeegee went into the hole and it was so good. I loved it. That mirror was absolutely the best it's ever been.
It's nice. It's a tool.
It
It's
is.
a tool at the end of the day.
But it is, absolutely, totally.
So you've got mostly male staff.
Yeah.
So Dale and I were talking when we were arranging the interview, and it was like one of the things that definitely is a situation, I suppose, is taking on males is maybe in society arguably easier than taking on females because you don't have like maternity pay is big. You don't have the risk of, and again, and this isn't coming from me because I'm going to end up getting absolutely hated on for it. Like this is just society, isn't it? Like usually it's the mum stereotypically that's in charge of the children. Therefore, if they're off sick, it tends to be more the female out of the couple that would be off sick. So I thought it'd be cool to talk to you both about the comparisons because most of your staff are female, most of your staff are male, and then see like where the overlap is because it is obviously like you're having a baby, and when you're a business owner, you know there is that. If all of your staff got pregnant at one time,
Can you imagine?
no.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon can't, but you know the rest of them could, and so that's like a risk. So it's like, do you think then having all male is easier than having females?
That's not something that I thought about.
I have
all,
never
really.
thought of that in my life.
But I guess, like, from my perspective, well, it's different because our barbers are all self-employed.
Okay.
So that kind of that takes away that sort of concern, I suppose.
Yeah.
If it's a concern. Having said that, I've hired women in the past, and I've not thought about that at all. I just think, oh, can you cut hair? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Are you sound? Can you cut hair? Get in here.
I love that interview. You'll would have a pint with you. Can you cut hair? Are you saying, what's your mirror cleaning skills like? But that could tip the iceberg here.
There is, like, I don't want to swear, but there is 3 things that I say to everybody that I hire, just to like set the ground rules straight away. Can I swear or not?
We can beep it out, yeah.
Right. I'll say, don't be late, don't do shit haircuts, and don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And then most of the time they're like, right, fine. One guy
That's
went,
just the 3 guidelines.
what constitutes being a dick?
Oh, no. Well, you
I
are
was
one
like,
now.
if you know, you know.
I think if you have to ask that question.
I think he was joking, but I'm like, a strike one.
If I find you if I don't find you funny, then you're being a dick.
Yeah.
It's like people that have to keep saying things like, no offence, but, well, no, that you've defeated the
I
purpose.
might
Like,
take offence.
yeah, you might.
Yeah. I know. So that whole thing, it's not really something that we've had to like give any thought to, really. In terms of like, you know, my wee girl's 2.5. The manager in Renfield Street, his wee boy's 2 days older than my wee girl. With one of the boys has got 3 kids now, so a lot of new dads or young dads. And what I basically do is, you know, like, if you've got a baby coming, take the first month off. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think
I
it's
feel
so
like-
sad for dads because the paternity allowance sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, is it 2 weeks the government allow?
well,
Not individual companies,
We
just-
get nothing.
Yeah,
Because we're just self-employed, so we get now. We just save up and take some time off, and that's it. You get back to work, and that's pretty much it. Which I do think is quite strange. I think it's going to change though, because for people that are employed, I've got clients. I have a client who is a wee boy, similar age to my wee girl, and he's slightly older. And he was telling me that when it was coming up time for his wee boy to be born, they had just changed the rules from like he was going to get 2 weeks, and then his boss said to him, "You can take up to 6 months." And he was like, "All right, well,
Unpaid.
I'll take no paid."
Wow.
No, he was like,
Is it
"No."
not the swap thing? Is that where, like, the mum can opt out of her full amount and then give it to the dad? Is that?
This was like a policy that meant like that's what the bank was going to give him. His boss was going to give him. So he was like, "I'll take 6 months then."
Happy
His
days,
boss
I know.
was like, "Yeah, well, you know, have a think about it." And he's like, "I've thought about it. I'll take the 6 months."
That'll do nicely,
Aye,
thank you
that'll
very
be fine.
much.
He's like, "Yeah, you can
Yeah.
let me know."
Tell
I'll
the
let
wife
you know
it's
now.
5
Do you want me to
months
send
and
you an
they'll
email
have
while
that
you're in
maybe.
front of me? Yes, please.
5 months. I got 5 months, darling, but the last month I'm going to have a bit of a tan and I'm going to be a bit off grid.
I've got 5 months for the baby and 1 for golf.
I know.
So if that's what's happening, and I don't know if that's obviously like private industry doing that, but if that becomes the standard, then at a certain point they're going to have to look at something for self-employed people, because we're paying tax, right? We're
I know,
doing all
it's
that
not
sort
fair.
of stuff.
It's pitiful, the support for self-employed people.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I had my daughter, to be pregnant is actually really stressful.
Yeah.
You're a business owner and you're pregnant, and you'll be the same. Obviously, you've got Chris, you know, he's also self-employed, so it is just hellish. And what they give you back is actually laughable.
Yeah.
It's really poor.
Yeah.
But
It's not easy.
maybe this again highlights to someone watching it that actually more needs to be done, because
I
it's a
think it
disgrace.
definitely needs to be visited, the subject does.
Yeah, self-employed people should have rights just as much as
I think so.
we're generating the jobs for other people. This is what I could never get my head round.
Yeah.
You know, I help provide 2 people's income.
Yeah.
You're how many staff?
Oh.
372.
It's like 23, 24 or something
23,
like that.
and you know, you're 7, and that's generating income for society. But yet the pressure lies on us to then support ourselves in some way when you know you need help.
Aye.
Yeah. I wonder as well, right? So my next thing, hairdressing is sometimes notoriously known as being, how would I say, bitchy without saying bitchy?
Bitchy.
Yeah.
Bitchy.
Aye,
Okay.
covers it.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah, well, there we go. Do you think that having no females or minor amounts of females makes any difference to that?
You're right against the women today, aren't
No,
you?
I'm just not.
You're
do you know
supposed to be supporting women.
no, I do. Of course I do. But
feel
it's
like I'm
not
trying to
often
get
we get
trapped
a
here.
male,
Yeah.
a male owner.
Yeah.
The girls are bitchy.
Yeah.
No, but that was one of the reasons we started the podcast, was
Yeah,
just
I
sort of bust myths
But I
and bring
think men
awareness.
can be just as bitchy.
They yeah, no, definitely. That's why I'm wondering, like,
Yeah.
whether you find that there's any impact on that, or do you still have to navigate conversations with staff and be like, right, stop it, you pair.
No, not really. Like, again, in the past, we've had women working in the shops and, it's been absolutely fine. We've had incidents where we've had a girl working in the shop and it has not been fine. But I don't ever really have to address it too much. I never have to. If you spot it, like there was a situation where I started to see, I hired a girl I didn't really know that well, and I started to see a kind of wee clique forming with her and this like other person in the shop, and I recognised it immediately because the place that I had worked before was rife with it. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I was determined to not have was that. So my mind was made up at that point, and I thought, I'm going to have to manage this situation to my benefit here. But ultimately, these things sort themselves out. Like we were saying earlier on, I try and hire the right guy or the right girl, and sometimes you don't. But very rarely do I have to then go, listen, this is not working out, you need to leave, because they'll quickly find that they don't really have any allies in there because we hire people that don't really want to behave like that. Yeah. So if you all of a sudden, like if I hired you and you'd worked for me for years and I hire you, Lisa, and you come in and then you go to one of the members of staff and you start saying something negative, they'll be like, she's worked here for years, like, what are you playing at? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's my pal.
I do that, man. I think that's a sign of having a good team. Like, they're almost so loyal to you that if somebody comes in and interrupts that, I've experienced that. Yeah. Somebody coming in and kind of getting their back up about somebody else that's worked there for a long time. And actually, it doesn't go down well for them because everybody gets a bit defensive of the salon, and it's like, this is our family. Like,
100%. Also, like, if you're correct, if that person is the way you're describing them to me, do you not think I would have noticed that in the 5 years they've been working here? I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to all of a sudden come in and be like, oh, you probably haven't noticed, but, this person's doing this. I would have noticed.
Definitely something in the industry that doesn't get discussed as an open thing. It's like other people perceive us as being bitchy when actually not everybody is, and it's the small minority that shout louder that make it look like that's the way that we behave.
I think it just comes down to the people as well. I think it's not just necessarily get women or men, or I think it's the culture of both, of just people in the industry. Yeah.
Hairdressers are notoriously known as party animals. I could not tell you when I last went to a party. Like, haven't left the house.
I know.
I did work in a place that was it was really bad for that. And I learned from that and went, right, we're definitely not having that. So as soon as you see it, I'm like, this needs to stop.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you quickly, so if you could choose from, start again, hold on. So would you rather have a moving in the chair client, a late client, or a silent client? What would your worst
preference?
What would your worst one be?
Oh, the moving client's the worst one.
But you're sitting swiveling.
I know, but no one's cutting my hair.
A moving client, I can't imagine. I mean, it's hard to do a hairdressing.
Obviously, when someone's late, if they're really late, it's an issue. I'll always try and squeeze them in. But at a certain point, you'll just say, listen, you'll have to reschedule. So you don't have to face it. Silent client, great, that's fine. If you don't want to talk, no bother. Moving client's murder.
That's torture.
Oh, so difficult.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Hope I never rambled too much.
No, I love it, and it's nice to hear like a male perspective. Obviously, we've got Gary, but a barbering male perspective, because it is a different science, technique, everything behind it. The courses you go on are not going to be the same as the ones I go. And so, final thing on the agenda today, we have brought in, we've very kindly been gifted some Valentte products. We'd actually spoke about them on an episode once before, but can you smell like the whole room?
Oh, it smells great.
It's unbelievable.
I was sampling them outside.
So thank you so much to Valentte for sending us those, and we will see you next week with another episode. Bye. Behind